My name is Mary Kluber, and I am so grateful to be here and have a chance to chat about what I'm doing in my life and my work. And so the work that I do has come about over the last, well, it's a lifetime really. And I'm a movement teacher and coach, and through that is called the Feldenkrais method. And the other bits of work that I do come from other trainings and experience. And one of those is being a physical therapy assistant, which I did a number of years ago after I did this movement training. And how I came to call my business Vitality from the Ground Up is a journey that has been pretty much in the last 20 years. I had my own trials and tribulations with my back pain and body, and got into trying to sort out how to move without pain. And so the accumulation of the experience that I now bring into my work began at that point where I was having my own journey with foot pain, back pain, what happens, when I wear shoes, different shoes. And so let me bring in another element. As I started my movement training, I began to work at REI and work in footwear. And so I started a journey that led me to fit over 16,000 pairs of boots and shoes. And that was like my introduction while my whole body was getting rewired through this movement training called the Feldenkrais method. And so being very sensitive to what's on my feet affected my back and my body. And then I had a journey with foot pain myself. And so fast forward to years later when I was working as a physical therapy assistant, and I started working kind of on the sly, but then was welcomed in working with my movement training, specifically with the geriatric patients that I was working with for therapy. I started working on their feet, and it was amazing what happened while they were willing to get out of bed and they were willing to do things, and it affected their ability to sleep better. It affected their ability to, participate in rehab, their willingness to get out of bed, to do therapy with me. And so it was sort of a really interesting, hundreds and hundreds of patients later, I found out what the effect of working gently with the feet was and how it impacted the system. I mean, I'd already done footwork with Feldenkrais, and in the course of that, I met a podiatrist that does only natural foot health. Came across his work and was just blown away. He had started his journey into natural foot health about the same time I had started my journey into movement and fitting footwear some 20 years ago. And eventually I was invited down to see his work in his office. And I got super excited because not only had I read a lot about his work online already, but then saw what he did and got very excited to know that, there was a lot of people that I could help potentially, that I didn't need to go to podiatry school to learn about, some of the things that he had stopped doing surgery. He had stopped doing orthotics, and he was only focusing on natural foot health, and he had come through this journey himself, being an Olympic caliber athlete that had a lot of foot trouble, which drove him into podiatry, which, I can, hey, not to interrupt the story,
I'm here.
Okay. Hi. Should I keep going?
Hi. Yeah, no, keep going. I love this story.
Okay. So, that introduction to his work and and then my own percolation reflecting was a catalyst for me. I had hurt my knee in my work, and in that kind of work, it's not a matter if, but when. And so as I'm in my recovery zone, eventually I went to his office, and then I had this aha. And then as I was continuing to recover, I, kind of declared to the universe, and there was sort of a universal support for it, that I would begin to just, see about, tell people that I'm that I want to help them with their foot pain. and that was in 2015. And so it's been an organic journey because I was on my own recovery journey from all kinds of things, you know, including the knee injury, you know, that added in, and you know, it was, you know, really, really debilitating anemia, and then malignant melanoma, and then, you know, there's just, you know, a host of other things along with that physically that were not really, I was not a vital person. So when my mom passed, I had been, you know, just really at my end of my budget because of the long time. There's so many complicating factors. I got kicked off of LNI because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with my knee, and I wasn't getting better, and so I ended up declaring bankruptcy. So, you know, then my mom passed, and so, you know, through the serendipitous of the universe, there was a little bit of money from her estate that I was able to help myself through this bankruptcy, and then finish, you know, like learning about getting healthy. And that's been the journey, is like this dual journey of organically letting my practice kind of develop, and I'm learning along the way, and also learning about being healthy and vital. So this vitality word has a lot of impact for me.
I love it, Mary, because it's funny. I sent out the information to my people on my newsletter. I said, you know, this is, I played with the words in that, you know, if you're having back pain or knee pain, you know, it might very well be your feet, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
I said, and they, for people who didn't know, which probably most people don't know because they don't see me right now, other than sitting here in front of a computer. But I've had really severe knee pain, probably for the past 6 weeks. I went to my acupuncturist, and he thought it was my psoas hip muscles that was, you know, tight. I'm pretty flexible though, so it was kind of weird to me. I mean, reduced the pain. But I changed my shoes because of our conversation that we had previously. I thought, okay, my shoes are supporting me well enough. And so I changed my shoes. Now, I will say my knee isn't perfect yet. It's not. It's I'm not able to bend it all the way yet. I mean, really severe. I mean, it was just pain I really ever encountered. And because of just my, you know, you guys listening, that Mary and I chatted, gosh, several weeks ago, and I loved her so much, I had to have her on. But because of her information, what she told me, and using the kind of shoes, and also as we open up in society and maybe getting to travel, it's important to think about what kind of shoes you're taking, not just to look pretty, but if you're traveling and on your feet, you know. So for me, that became a real life experience. It's like, oh, I've got to change my shoes to get something a little bit more substantial than just a slipper like thing. My knee just blitzed out. I mean, I was in pain. And so I think that's pretty interesting. And tell people a little bit about the Feldenkrais method, because I know that he's, you know, it was a he, right?
He. Yeah.
A worldwide movement in making sure that our back pain, our knee pain, our foot pain, you know, all of that is, I mean, every kind of pain really can be addressed in a very holistic approach. And that's what I love having on here. People who do a lot of holistic stuff. Even though I'm trained in the allopathic world, I like to give a balance to the allopathic world that has been, you know, dominant over the past 200 years in America anyway. But there's an opportunity for people who may not be getting relief from an allopathic physician, from a podiatrist, from your internal medicine. And not to say they're not doing the right thing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's other movement opportunities that can increase the flexibility, and your expertise in that is so profound with everything that you personally went through and studied. And I'm just so happy to have you here. And while I take a minute, Mary, where would you want people to reach out to you as they listen, if they're not here live, as they listen to replay? Where would you want them to go to?
Right now, I have a website. It's marykluber.com. And like many entrepreneurs, I'm in the process of building more out, but that's my little landing place for now. And people can reach out to me via email or phone calls to have a chat to see if there's anything that maybe we could work together on. And yes, I'm very passionate about foot pain because I found out from this podiatrist how much it impacts the rest of the system. I mean, I'm a girl who, went through this Feldenkrais training, and it's all about the whole self. Like, your right ear might hurt, but it could be your left toe. That's the problem. But,
Right.
that's a little, but what I found out was this podiatrist who is my main mentor, he had been at this 15 years by the time I came across him doing this, developing his own protocol for this natural foot health. And when he said to me, like so many people, Mary, they come in with foot pain, but it's not their only thing, but they talk mostly about the foot pain. They go, "Hey doc, my knee pain's better. Hey doc, my hip pain's better. Hey doc, my neck, my back, my whatever pain is better." And all they did was the foot thing. So I'm like, wow. And considering that foot pain is an epidemic at 80 to 90% at any, or 70 to 80% at any given time have foot pain, and 90% of people wear their shoes too small. Oh my goodness. And it's, and the elephant in the room about this whole project, that I'm passionate about is that, the main reason that we have foot pain is footwear. It's the elephant in the room. And I get so excited because so many of my, clients have, it's not like a super deep thing, like they change their footwear and things can really get a lot better, just like you're noticing. And the evidence, not just my mentor, but the evidence across the spectrum, there are other people doing natural foot health kind of things, that it's a huge thing, and what I offer is a full spectrum of help, not just I'm a really great with footwear, which is like a non-negotiable item that you have to change,
Right.
Because
Right.
90% of us are, shoes too small. So anyway,
Right.
there's
So
there's
funny
a
because
nice,
I think. Go ahead.
go ahead. No.
Well, I think it's so fascinating because I think most of us don't think about our shoe wear, our footwear as material. Like if you're an Olympic runner or even just a runner or a cyclist or a football player, it's tools of the trade. So everyday living you should honor, it's a tool of your trade, whether you're going into an office in business, or whether you're pounding the pavement in sales, or whether you're, an entrepreneur or even a homebody who is walking around, taking the dog for the walk and whatever, having the right fitting shoes and the right kind of shoes for the purpose of walking. I think it really needs to be considered based on what you've taught me, is that's the tool of your trade. You can't dismiss shoes. Not easy, right?
No, I'll tell you something impactful that I still mention today sometimes to my clients is like back when I was in REI, it's a flagship store in Seattle. So the volume there is like they sell more shoes than any place else on the entire planet by volume. And so,
wow.
Every day there were people going all over the world, traveling all over the world. And I had a client one day, and there were so many other cases, but this is special because, she's taken a 2 or 3 week trip to New Zealand, and she's going to do a lot of hiking, and she's coming in to get her pair of boots that are going to take her on her trip. It's probably too soon. I mean, it's probably, what do you call it? She probably could have used a few more weeks of breaking them in, but there were two pairs that were close. But one was actually, oh, my cat is on my, my thing. Get off. I can't. I had to get my cat off of the, oh my God, the microphone. He climbed up. I'm sorry, he climbed up on my lap and then sat right on
No
my
worries.
cord.
It's live. It's okay. It's all
Oh my
great. We
God.
love it.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so she was, you know, there were two pairs. One was really better, and I'm really good at what I do, you know, with that. And so I'm like, okay, here you go. You're spending how much on your trip to New Zealand? Okay, like $2,000. Okay, so when you go out on the trail and you're hiking up the trail and you get blisters, do you know how much you would pay for a pair of boots? Probably twice what you're paying right now, because you went on this trip and so, you know, we had this little thing. She bought the boots that I recommended. I don't know how many weeks later, I got a postcard from her mailed to the store from New Zealand. Wow. And she said, wow, I can't thank you enough for helping me pick these boots. I'm the only one on this hike that doesn't have blisters, which meant that the next day she could go on a hike. She just paid thousands of dollars to hike her way through the whole country, right? And so she's the only one that's going to go hiking the next day. How great is that?
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So I want to make sure, as people are listening tonight, and I don't see anybody live tonight, but normally I'll get a lot of feedback for listening for the post tape. Make sure, if you are planning a trip, or if you're really having back pain or knee pain like I've had, or even if it is foot pain, if you need a consultation with Mary, set it up. Go to www.maryklueber, Klueber, right? It's like blue, but with a K, and Klueber.com. And consult with her, because she is awesome with this. I'm telling you, she's awesome. So, and I think that, with this, it gives everybody a little bit of a snapshot of who you are, what you do, what you offer, and it will save their lives. Just like that example you just had. The girl goes to New Zealand on a hiking trip, and, it's an expensive trip, and she's the one who gets to enjoy the trip because she had the right tools for the job, right? For the goal. So yes. I think that's a really cool story. So that, I think I'm sorry we had some technical difficulties in the beginning. Somehow it was a new test for me that hadn't come up before, so I was a little slow with it. But I hope you enjoyed Entrepreneurs on the Rise with Mary Klueber. Please go to her website, www.maryklueber.com, maryklueber.com, and check her out. Give her a question. I know she's happy to answer a question, but if you need a consultation, she's there. She can show you right on Zoom. Tonight we're on StreamYard because I'm live streaming it to a couple of different places, but she's awesome. So I can vouch for her because I had the same issue and she helped me just with the information that she was able to share. So with that, Mary, thank you so much for being patient with me and coming tonight. I loved it. And there's so much more to know. So I think I'm going to try to have a panel. I'm in the middle of different, home buys and things like that. But when I get settled with my schedule, I'd like for people to come on Mondays or one day during the week at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'll work out schedules with that. But I think people need to hear more of what you have to offer.
Well, it's been really, really fun to hang out with you, Joelle, and I'm so grateful for the invitation, and it's been a blast, even with the cat on my cord and like how you guys can't hear me.
No, we could hear you. You couldn't hear me, and I ended up something clicked on the computer where it was muted. So it's all fun, right? It's all live.
Good. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well,
you.
Again,
thanks
for the invitation.
This was awesome.
Until next time,
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.